Hi everyone, we're going to go over how to block in hands and do a two-value statement over the block in. So to do this, we really need to understand the construction behind the hands, and there's multiple videos that we have on that already. So if I turn on all the construction going on, we have the box of the palm. So we want to think about how this is one side of the box, 2, 3, 4, 5, right where the fingers come out of, and then 6 right at the bottom of the wrist. So at max, we can always see 3 sides, which is in the red section I've blocked in. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to think about how the knuckles attach on. So there's knuckles, we have 1, 2, 3 knuckles on these 4 fingers, and then 1, 2 on the thumb. So we're going to think about those, but just keep in mind that these on like the back of your hand are a lot more prominent than the ones on your fingers. And then the last thing we're going to add on is the box of the fingers. So we think about the fingers like there's 4 planes of this box that we can see. Technically there'd be 6, right? We see front and back as well, but at most we can see 4, and then except for the last one we see either a plane facing us if it is. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off some of these. So to start my block in, I'm just gonna go ahead and think about the big envelope shape. Remember, envelope shape is the first thing that we draw. So I'm gonna think about how the wrist and the hand, so the wrist is right here, like at the bottom of your forearm, and the hand are going at 2 different directions here. So I'm gonna start that block in. Those are going 2 different directions. I'm going to do a big envelope shape for that whole side of the hand here. Envelope shape for that side of the hand. I'm going to curve it up with the fingers, down with the thumb here, and then together with the thumb and the pointer finger. Remember, your envelope shape is just the big main shape that's going over the whole hand. So from here to here, here to here to here, here to here. Like that. So I'm going to make a couple adjustments to my shape because I think this has to be higher up on that side. Remember to hold your pencil like an artist. I know it feels kind of weird, but the more you do it, the easier it'll get. Okay, so there's my rough envelope shape. I'm gonna go in now and start to think about where's the cutoff for the knuckles and where the shadows are compared to the rest of the planes. So right here is kind of this curved shadow. I'm gonna think about this negative space now. So this is the envelope shape. Now I'm doing the block in. So the block in is think about the negative shape here and then any of the shadow shapes. And then following the construction, so this is for the second set of knuckles. I'm going to block in this first set, thinking about the arc of that box. And then I'm going to think about how the roundness of the knuckles there are going to affect like going from one finger to the next finger. So if I turn, so this is where they are. I'm not gonna draw out all the spheres like that. I'm just gonna turn everything off for a second and look at it as just a regular drawing. I'm gonna find the middle knuckle here. That's the middle of the hand. I'm gonna put in a little arch there. Because that's like a little tiny shadow I can see right here. I'm gonna put in on this side a little bit of a roundness because I can see a little bit of a shadow on that side. And I'm gonna start to separate out the pointer finger from the middle finger. And then there's a roundness on this side as well. Right here's where that shadow starts. Whenever you start to block in any contour or any two value statement, you always want to think about how that should really be complementing whatever the construction is that's going on. I'm going to jump from here, and I want to make sure that this feels like the highest arch, and then it goes down from there because there's like an arch happening in the fingers. So I'm going to put a little line to think about that, and I'm going to block in the next set of the knuckles here. And then I want to think about too how I can see the planes of each of these fingers. I can't see it because that other finger's in the way, but I'm just gonna ignore it for now. This is going to be going down. This is where this knuckle's going to land here. Whenever I'm doing like so the hands and the fingers are very complicated. It's lots of moving parts. And so whenever I'm drawing something like that, I always try to block everything in kind of at the same speed. So I don't want to just do the drawing for the entire thumb and then jump to the pointer finger. Because if I do that, then sometimes what I've done for the thumb may be incorrect. And then I have to redraw a lot of my drawing that I probably don't want to. Then I can't see this part here. And then this part of the pinky is really just kind of going right behind there. So this is I went from blocking to a little bit of contour, and I started to etch in some of the two value statements that I'm thinking about here. I want to think about how this plane of the thumb, so in this case, this finger pad right here is facing forward, and that's going to be in dark. You want to think about how fingernails are actually at a lower height than the skin or the knuckle of the finger. So like where the finger is in comparison, it drops down right where the nail bed happens. So I don't want you guys to necessarily outline the whole fingernails. I'm not going to do that, but I can mark if I see the height difference, that's what I'm going to put down. But I'm not going to draw out the fingernail. And then from here, I'm gonna switch to line type tool. I'm gonna do a little bit of a two value statement now. So right here, there's a dark, I start to shade that in. There's a shadow, a cast shadow on the pillow. So I'm gonna draw that in because it's part of the two value statement of the object. And then for these fingers down here, these parts of the knuckles and the fingers, it's all one big shadow shape. So we're not going to separate them out right now. If I was going to continue this drawing and do a more detailed drawing, I absolutely would, to an extent, of course, but they're all dark shape, so I'm just gonna block it in like that. You can kind of tell at like the base of the knuckle how it's very like curved on the ends, like here and here, and then straight at the top, because the knuckle is really like a sphere and a cylinder meeting. I'm gonna put this curve here. I want these heights to be really prominent. And then there's a bit of a cast shadow. And this is a form shadow from the pillow. So I'm going to shade that in. And then going back up to the top of the wrist for a second. So the base of the palm is a square and it meets up with another square, which is the wrist. And so what's happening right here in the corner is that the two boxes are kind of changing perspectives. So on this side, I can see this front plane, and on the hand, I can see this back plane, the plane on the right. So it's important to think about how this hand's twisting in space. I'm gonna move this knuckle down a little bit more. Make these a little bit longer. Okay, so these have to move down. Good, that's better. Okay, and then from here, all I'm doing is just kind of messing with my drawing. So I think that this part of the knuckle on her has to get a little longer, so I'm kind of adjusting where the creases, where everything is. I could really erase this a bit more prominently. And I moved this down, so I did both. So I think it's better to kind of change two things rather than drastically change one thing. I can add this tiny little form shadow here that I think is really pretty. This side of the knuckles really kind of coming more forward like a cube shape. So that would be like my lost to value statement. This is a big lost edge right here. And then how you get that back is in your drawing, your final drawing, you want to think about, you know, where is the darker part? Is the darker part on the hand, or is it in the shadow? So if I look at my photo, it's on the hand. So to get this back, I would take my pencil and I'd start to darken the hand side because that's going to be darker. Than the pillow.